What if a playground on a graveyard summoned the dead? In 1875, Huntsville builds a chilling legacy. A playground rises in Maple Hill Cemetery, stirring restless spirits. By 1962, children vanish, found dead on the slides. Ghostly figures swing at dusk, their laughter a haunting echo. Lila Grayson uncovers a curse-plagued graves beneath, demanding souls. Reverend Paul fights to free the ghost children, their eyes pleading. Will a memorial break the cycle, or will more join the eternal play? The Alabama ghosts whisper secrets of sorrow, loss, and redemption. Dive into this eerie tale, watch the haunting unfold now. The year was 1875, a warm spring in Huntsville, Alabama. The Maple Hill Cemetery sprawled across the town, its oaks heavy with moss and memory. Residents gathered by the iron gates, their voices a mix of hope and unease. They decided to build a playground amid the tombstones, a space for their children. The idea came from Reverend Elias Stone, a 60-year-old pastor with kind eyes. Elias believed the living and dead could share the land, a bridge between worlds. Children need joy, he said, his Bible open, his hands steady on the shovel. Workers cleared a patch, swings creaking into place, a slide gleaming under the sun. But old Martha Grayson, a widow at 70, shook her head, her voice a warning. This land holds spirits, mark my words. The dead won't take kindly to this. The playground opened with a festival, laughter echoing over the graves. Children swung high, their shouts a melody, their feet kicking up cemetery dust. Elias watched, his heart full, his faith a shield against the whispers of unease. By dusk, the festivities faded, the children gone, the silence thick with shadows. Martha lingered, her lantern flickering, her eyes on a tombstone that seemed to shift. She muttered of restless souls, of children buried too young, their cries unheard. The townsfolk dismissed her, their minds on progress, their hearts on the future. But that night, a soft giggle drifted through the oaks, a sound no living child made. Elias prayed by the playground, his rosary beads clicking, his breath shallow. The spirits were stirring, and Huntsville would soon feel their ghostly touch. Years passed, the playground weathered, its wood graying, its swings swaying in the breeze. By 1890, children still played, their laughter a constant refrain. Elias grew old, his hair white, his steps slow, his faith tested by whispers of ghosts. Parents spoke of cold spots, of swings moving alone, of eyes in the dusk's gloom. Martha's warnings grew louder, her tales of ghostly children gaining believers. One evening, a boy named Tommy Reed, 8 years old, vanished from the slide. His mother searched, her cries piercing the night, her lantern casting wild shadows. Tommy returned at dawn, pale and silent, claiming he'd played with friends in the fog. Elias crossed himself, his voice trembling. The dead have claimed this place. The playground stood as a silent sentinel, its secrets buried beneath the earth. By 1900, the legend took root, a tale told by firelight in Huntsville. Children avoided the playground after dark, their games replaced by fearful glances. Elias passed in 1905, his grave near the swings, his spirit watching. Martha lived on, her warnings a chant, her eyes seeing what others couldn't. The town grew, its streets paved, its people busy, but the cemetery remained haunted. Swings creaked without wind, slides glistened with dew no rain had brought. Ghostly laughter echoed, a chorus of the lost, their presence a whisper in the pines. Residents spoke of children in old clothes, their faces pale, their play eternal. The playground was a bridge. Elias's dream turned nightmare, the dead claiming their space. Huntsville held its breath, the children of the grave waiting for their next playmate. The years rolled into 1940, Huntsville's quiet streets growing lively. The Maple Hill Cemetery playground stood weathered, its paint peeling, its swings worn. Children still played by day, their laughter a bright contrast to the graveyard's gloom. But night brought whispers, tales of ghostly figures swinging where no one lived. Old Martha Grayson had passed in 1930, her warnings now legend. Her granddaughter Lila, 25, tended her garden near the cemetery's edge. Lila had heard the stories, her grandmother's voice echoing, "The dead play there." She watched the playground at dusk, her eyes catching a flicker of movement. A boy in a tattered shirt swung high, his face pale, his laugh a hollow echo. Lila crossed herself, her heart racing. The ghost children were real and watching. By 1950, the town buzzed with war's end, its people hopeful. The playground saw more children, their energy a defiance of the graveyard's chill. But parents grew wary, their tales of vanishings growing with each passing year. Lila kept watch, her journal filling with sightings, ghosts on slides, swings in motion. She spoke to Reverend Paul Carter, 40 years old, a new pastor with curious eyes. Paul listened, his Bible open, his mind open to the unexplained, the spiritual. "Perhaps Elias's bridge worked too well," he said, his voice soft, his gaze distant. Lila nodded. The dead want company, living children drawn to their play. The town held a meeting, its voices a mix of fear and denial, its decision unclear. The playground remained, a magnet for the living and a haunt for the lost. The 1960s dawned, Huntsville thriving with NASA's rise, its future bright. But the Maple Hill playground darkened with a new shadow. Disappearances began. In 1962, a girl named Annie Tate, 10 years old, vanished. She'd been swinging at dusk, her laughter fading into the fog, her absence a scream. Her father searched, his lantern trembling, his cries lost in the cemetery silence. Annie returned at dawn, her clothes muddy, her eyes vacant, her words chilling. "I played with them," she whispered, "the children in the ground, they wouldn't let go." The town panicked, its children forbidden from the playground, its gates locked at night. But the vanishings continued, 3 more kids by 1965, all found dead. Their bodies lay on the slides, their faces peaceful, their spirits now part of the haunt. Lila documented each case, her journal a record of grief, her heart heavy. Paul prayed by the playground, his voice rising, his faith tested by the ghostly play. Residents spoke of cold hands, of swings moving alone, of laughter in the fog. The children of the 1960s, Annie, Jimmy, Sarah, Tom, became the new ghosts. They appeared at dusk, their forms translucent, their play a silent accusation. Lila saw them one night, her lantern dim, their eyes pleading, their voices a whisper. "Stay with us," they said, their hands reaching, their presence a pull on her soul. Paul tried to bless the ground, his cross raised, his prayers drowned by ghostly giggles. The playground was cursed, Elias's dream a trap, the dead claiming the living's joy. Huntsville lived in fear, the children of the grave a legend etched in shadow. By 1966, Lila Grayson carried the weight of Huntsville's fear. Her journal was thick, its pages filled with tales of the Maple Hill ghosts. She was 31 now, her auburn hair streaked with gray, her eyes tired but sharp. Reverend Paul Carter stood by her, his faith a flickering light in the darkness. The playground was a forbidden zone, its gates rusted, its swings still swaying. Annie, Jimmy, Sarah, and Tom appeared nightly, their laughter a mournful tune. Lila watched from her porch, her lantern low, her heart aching for the lost children. Paul suggested an exorcism, his voice firm, his hands clutching his worn Bible. "We must free them," he said, his eyes on the cemetery, his resolve tested. Lila nodded, her fear mingling with hope. The ghosts needed peace, not banishment. They gathered supplies, holy water, candles, a prayer book from Elias's time. The night was moonless, the air thick with fog, the playground a silhouette of doom. Paul led the ritual, his voice rising, his cross gleaming in the lantern's light. Lila sprinkled water, her hands trembling, her prayers a plea to the spirits. The swings creaked louder, the slides glistened, the ghost's forms sharpening in the mist. Annie stepped forward, her dress torn, her voice a whisper. We didn't mean to stay. Jimmy's eyes were hollow, his words a sob. They pulled us down into the earth. Sarah and Tom joined, their hands outstretched, their faces a mix of sorrow and rage. Paul's prayer faltered, his faith shaken, the ghost's power stronger than he'd thought. Lila felt a cold hand on hers, a child's grip, a pull toward the graveyard's heart. She resisted, her voice firm. Tell us why you don't belong here alone. Annie's ghost spoke, her form flickering. Elias built this, but the ground was cursed. The dead children of old called us, Jimmy said, his voice fading. We couldn't leave. Sarah's eyes glowed, her words a plea. Help us rest, end this cycle of play. Tom nodded, his form trembling. The living keep coming, we take them to join us. Lila's heart sank. The playground was a trap, the curse born from Elias's dream. Paul resumed his prayer, his voice steady, his faith renewed by their words. The ghosts receded, their forms dissolving, their laughter a distant echo. But the air remained cold, the ritual incomplete, the spirits still bound to the land. Lila and Paul knew they'd glimpsed the truth, but the battle was far from over. The next day, the town buzzed with rumors Lila and Paul had faced the ghosts. Residents gathered, their voices a mix of awe and fear, their eyes on the playground. A boy named Daniel, 12 years old, approached Lila, his face pale with worry. My sister saw them last night, he said, his hands clutching a worn toy truck. She said they wanted her to play. Mom won't let her near the cemetery now. Lila knelt, her voice gentle. We'll stop this, Daniel. Promise me you'll stay away. Paul met with the town council, his proposal bold an investigation into the curse. They agreed, their fear outweighing skepticism, their hope pinned on Lila and Paul. The playground loomed, its swings silent by day, its secrets stirring beneath the earth. The children of the grave waited, their ghostly play a call to the living's doom. By 1967, Lila, Grayson, and Reverend Paul Carter led the hunt. The Maple Hill playground was cordoned off, its gates locked, its silence eerie. The town council hired historians, their books dusty, their curiosity piqued. They uncovered records from 1875, Elias's vision documented. Elias had chosen the site, believing it sacred, its soil blessed by past prayers. But the historians found a darker truth, a mass grave beneath, children of a plague. In 1850, smallpox had claimed dozens, their bodies buried in haste. The playground sat atop their unrest, Elias's bridge a mistake, a call to the dead. Lila read the records, her heart sinking, her journal noting the curse's origin. Paul prayed, his voice low. We've disturbed their resting place. The ghosts are their echo. They organized a dig, the town watching, their breath held, their fear palpable. Archaeologists found bones, small and fragile, their skulls marked by the plague's scars. The air grew cold, the swings creaking, the ghosts of Annie, Jimmy, Sarah, and Tom appearing. Annie's voice was a sob. We joined them, the old children, trapped in the earth. Jimmy pointed to the bones, his form trembling. They pull us back every night. Sarah's eyes glowed, her words a plea. Free us, break the curse, please. Tom nodded, his hand on a skull. The living must stop coming, or we'll take more. Lila felt the weight, her resolve firm. She'd end this for the town, for the dead. Paul blessed the bones, his prayer a chant, his cross raised to the ghostly children. The ground shook, the diggers fleeing, the spirits' wails a storm in the night. The ritual faltered, the curse unbroken, the ghost's power surging from the grave. Lila stayed, her lantern bright, her voice calling, tell us how to free you. Annie's form flickered, her words faint. A sacrifice, someone must join us willingly. Jimmy's eyes were hollow, one life to seal the rest, to quiet the old ones. Sarah's voice broke. "We don't want this, but the curse demands it." Tom's hand reached. "Choose, or we'll choose for you. More will vanish." Lila's heart raced, her mind reeling. No one should die, yet the town was at stake. Paul stepped forward, his voice steady. "I'll offer myself. Let the children rest." Lila grabbed his arm, her tears falling. "No, Paul, there must be another way." The ghosts faded, their demand hanging, the curse a shadow over Huntsville's hope. The next day, the town debated, its voices a clash of fear and morality. Some urged Paul's sacrifice, others sought a priest, a ritual, a solution. Lila proposed a memorial, her voice firm. "Honor the dead, give them peace." The council agreed, their decision a compromise, their hope pinned on remembrance. They planned a monument, its stone carved with the names of the plagued children. Lila wrote a letter, her words a plea, sent to scholars across the South. Paul prayed nightly, his faith a shield, his heart heavy with the ghost's demand. The playground remained silent, its swings still, its curse a whisper in the wind. The children of the grave waited, their play a lure, their need for release urgent. Huntsville stood at a crossroads, the unexplained mysteries of Maple Hill unresolved. By 1968, Huntsville rallied around Lila Grayson's plan. The Maple Hill playground was a ghost town, its gates locked, its silence deafening. The town council funded a memorial, its stone quarried from Tennessee, its design solemn. Lila oversaw the project, her journal guiding, her heart set on peace for the dead. Reverend Paul Carter prayed daily, his voice a beacon, his faith renewed by hope. The monument rose, a granite obelisk, its face carved with 50 names from 1850. Each name was a child, a victim of the plague, their graves now marked, their rest honored. The playground was dismantled, its swings removed, its slides buried, its curse weakened. Lila stood at the unveiling, her eyes wet, her voice steady. "This is for you, the lost." The air warmed, the fog lifted, the ghosts of Annie, Jimmy, Sarah, and Tom appearing. Annie's form was softer, her dress less torn, her voice a whisper. "You remembered us." Jimmy smiled, his eyes less hollow. The old ones are quiet, their anger fades. Sarah's glow dimmed, her words a sigh. "The curse weakens, thank you, Lila." Tom's hand dropped, his form trembling. "But we're still here bound, not free." Lila felt their pain, her heart aching. "What more can we do, tell me?" Paul stepped forward, his Bible open. A final prayer, a release for all souls. He chanted, his voice rising, the monument glowing with the lantern's light. The ghosts gathered, their forms brightening, their laughter a harmony, not a haunt. The ground trembled, the obelisk pulsed, the spirits rising, their chains breaking. Lila and Paul watched, their breath held, the memorial a bridge to the beyond. The ritual ended, the ghosts vanished, their presence a memory in the morning light. The cemetery was calm, its oaks still, its air free of the chill that once lingered. Lila documented the night, her journal closed, her burden lifted, her hope restored. Paul smiled, his faith affirmed. Elias's dream was flawed, but we've mended it. The town celebrated, its fear replaced with relief, its children safe to roam again. But whispers remained, some swore they saw a swing move, a child's laugh in the dusk. Lila visited the monument often, her flowers laid, her prayers a quiet tribute. The plagued children were at peace, their names etched in stone, their spirits released. Yet the unexplained mysteries of Maple Hill lingered, a tale for future generations. Huntsville breathed easier, but the playground's shadow cast a long ghostly echo. Years passed, and the memorial became a landmark, its story a Huntsville legend. By 1980, children played near the cemetery, their laughter bright. Lila grew old, her hair white, her hands steady, her legacy the monument's peace. Paul retired, his church a haven, his tales of the ghosts a sermon of redemption. The town grew with Mass's legacy, its streets busy, its past a quiet undercurrent. Visitors came, their cameras clicking, their voices awed by the obelisk's tale. Some claimed to feel cold spots, to hear giggles, to see faint figures in the fog. Lila dismissed them, her smile gentle. The children are gone, only memories remain. The Maple Hill Cemetery stood serene, its graves a testament, its curse broken. But the legend of the Alabama ghost children lived on, a whisper in the southern wind. Lila Grayson passed in 1992, a quiet autumn in Huntsville. She was 59, her life dedicated to the Maple Hill Memorial, her spirit at peace. Paul Carter followed in 1995, his 90 years, a legacy of faith. The monument stood tall, its granite weathered, its name's a silent choir of the lost. The Alabama ghost children became a tale told by campfires, etched in local lore. By 2025, Huntsville thrived, its tech hub a contrast to its past. The Maple Hill Cemetery was a tourist spot, its playground gone, its obelisk a draw. Visitors laid flowers, their whispers soft, their cameras capturing the monument's glow. Some swore they saw Annie's swing, Jimmy's slide, Sarah's laugh, Tom's shadow in the dusk. The legend persisted, the unexplained mysteries a thread in Huntsville's fabric. Historians studied the records, their books thick, their theories varied and vast. The plague of 1850, the playground of 1875. Elias's dream, the vanishings of the 60s, the ritual of 1968. They debated curse, coincidence, or spiritual bridge gone wrong, the truth elusive. Lila's journal was preserved, its pages yellowed, its words a testament to her fight. Paul's prayers were recorded, his voice a echo, his faith a light in the darkness. The town embraced the story, its ghost children, a symbol of resilience, not fear. A festival began, the Maple Hill Days, its lanterns lit, its tailies shared with pride. Children dressed as ghosts, their laughter bright, their play a tribute to the past. The Alabama ghost children were no longer a curse, but a legend of hope reborn. The American River flowed near, its waters a mirror, its banks a keeper of stories. The Sierra Nevada stood beyond, its peaks a guardian, its whispers a legacy. Huntsville's past merged with its present, the cemetery a bridge between worlds. The monument glowed under the moon, its name's a prayer, its peace a promise. Some nights, a soft giggle drifted, a swing creaked, a slide glistened with dew. Residents smiled, their fear gone, their hearts warmed by the ghost's gentle play. The Alabama ghost children were at rest, their spirits free, their tale eternal. Lila and Paul's work had succeeded, the curse broken, the living and dead reconciled. The unexplained mysteries of Maple Hill became a story of love, loss, and redemption. Huntsville carried its ghosts with pride, their echo a light in the southern night. If this tale of the Alabama ghost children stirred your heart with its eerie grace, if Lila and Paul's quest to free the lost made you feel the cemetery's pulse, if the playground's haunting play left you breathless, seeking more of its mystery, show your support, give this video a like to honor the spirits of Huntsville. Join us on this journey into the unexplained, where legends whisper in the dark. Subscribe for more stories of mystery, history, and the truths we dare to face. What do you think the Maple Hill ghosts still hide? What secrets linger in Alabama? Drop your thoughts below. Let's uncover the mysteries together. The legacy of the unseen endures. A new chapter awaits your curiosity. Your wonder lights the path forward. Let's walk it as one.